Hello and welcome to India Career Center, the one-stop podcast for students, professionals, parents and guardians. In every episode, we will try to deal with a current topic that needs expert advice related to career guidance and career mentoring. Please welcome your host, Dr. S.P. Mishra to the show and happy listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode on India Career Center. Today we are going to talk about patents and intellectual property rights. This is a subject which I learned about just few days back while I was having a conversation with Mr. Yogesh of FSID, and I got to know a little bit about it. And he was kind enough to actually help us connect with the resource person for today's conversation, Mr. Gopinath, who is the partner from K&S Partners. So we will learn more about this topic, and I'm looking forward to this because I want to learn a lot about this topic. It's interesting because a lot of good work is happening in India right now. And going forward, I think a lot of creative work, a lot of new inventions, innovations in India will be patented. And it's an exciting period which is coming up. So we'll learn more from him. Mr. Gopinath, thank you so much for being with us today and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mishra. Thanks to India Career Center for having me here. So it will be my pleasure to talk about my knowledge and my journey as a patent attorney for 15 plus years now. Yeah, so looking forward to this session. Thank you.
Fantastic. When I heard about you and looked at your profile, I saw that you are a mechanical engineer. And on top of it, you have done law, and then you have taken up patenting as your profession. So it's so interesting. I mean, not many people in your time would have thought about this professional career. So tell us about how you chose this career. I mean, how it happened to you.
So, Dr. Mishra, that's a good question. I mean, I must say, my background is mechanical engineering, and passion towards the innovation and passion towards coming up with something new naturally led me to the world and introduced me to the world of patents. And that's the time where I thought, hey, why not make a career in patents? So I was fortunate enough. K&S Partners campus recruited me good 15 years back when I was a young engineer from the campus. Then I got an opportunity to get trained on nuances of patent law, nuances of IP law, nuances of law in general. And that actually gave me a strong pillar to become a seasoned patent professional or a seasoned patent attorney for last 15 years, serving my clients in the area of patents, in the area of other IPs, including design registrations and things like that.
Okay, since we are doing this conversation with a target audience for young students, so let's start from basics. So can you help us understand what is actually a patent? I mean, what exactly happens when you talk about patent?
Patent is a legal right that is granted to inventors who have invented something which is novel, which means new, for a limited period of time. Let's say for 20 years of time, any person who has invented a technology which is novel and meets the requirement of patentability will enjoy the monopoly to use, to sell, or to license that technology for a certain period of time. It will also stop someone else, like an infringer, to use or sell or to even, manufacture the patented technology without the permission of the patent holder. That's the power of patent.
Okay, so in that case, is it that only a product which is a physical product that can be patented, or what can be patented? So, for example, if we talk about in today's world, I think a lot of things is happening in the software and AI. So, what happens to them?
Not really the only product is patentable. Even the process, any new product or a process is patentable. But only thing is this new process or a novel process or new product or a novel product must meet other criteria of patentability. Like it should be inventive, meaning thereby it should be technically advanced when compared to what is already known, or it should be also economically significant when compared to the known technologies. And it should not be very, very obvious, meaning thereby it should not be very easy for a person who is in the field of technology to come out with such invention. And also, this technology must be capable of being made and used in the industry. I'm sure a whole lot of technologies that we develop will have an industrial application, and therefore meeting the requirement of novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability help us to get a patent, whether it is on the process or on a patent. But I must mention, though the technology may relate to some of the product or a process, there are certain exclusions from patentability, which are dealt by Section 3 and Section 4 of Indian Patents Act. I will not use legal jargons here to make it simple. Some of these exclusions include mere discovery of a scientific principle, method of treatment, or a mere computer program, or if it is a mere arrangement or rearrangement of known components, each functioning independently, or if the inventions relate to agriculture, horticulture, or even the invention if they relate to atomic energy due to national security reasons, such inventions will not qualify for patentability.
So if a young person who has got an idea about something, a product, let's say, to make it simpler, uh, so how he or she will start from the idea to the patent? So can you take us through that steps?
Yeah, it is not a very complex process to be followed. Once an inventor conceives any idea, once he has an idea, probably, it is better that, they put it into a document in the form of invention disclosure form and take up a preliminary search to conduct to see if there is any technology which is already existing in the art, which is similar to what is being developed by a particular inventor or an engineer. And if there is nothing in the world which talks about a similar technology, that's the time when he or she can make a decision to file for a patent application. Filing a patent application is again a fairly a simple process where one has to prepare a patent application that covers the technology in detail, which will enable anyone in the field of technology to come up with an invention or to come up with a product or a process that has been applied for a patent, and prepare a patent application covering detailed description, covering claims, figures, etc., and file it before the respective patent office. Since we are an Indian national, we are required to file it before the Indian Patent Office. Once we file the application before the Indian Patent Office, one will receive something called as application number, date of filing, and things like that. And there are also few formalities to be met. Like, for example, if an inventor or if a company is filing a patent application, then proof of right, which proves that an applicant had the right to file the patent applications be filed. And there are other formalities. If you are filing it through an agent, then a power of attorney to that agent. These are some of the formal requirements to be met for filing a patent application. And once the patent application is filed, there is something called as compulsory request for examination, which must be filed, requesting the Indian Patent Office to take it up for, let's say, further processing by the way of examination. Now, once the patent office receives all these things, they will publish the patent application, pick it up for examination, issue something called as examination report. And once the examination report is issued, there will be a window of 6 to 9 months time for an applicant to respond to the objections in the examination report. Now, once the applicant is able to successfully convince the patent office with respect to all the objections that were raised, then a patent will be granted or a decision will be taken to reject the patent. Once patent is granted, he or she becomes a rightful owner of the patent. Then to maintain the patent every year, there is a small maintenance fee which has to be paid. And India, there is also a requirement that one must keep the Indian Patent Office updated on working of the invention or the patented technology in India. That requirement earlier it was every year, but now with further streamlining and further brainstorming, Indian Patent Office has simplified the requirement. Now, once in 3 years, a patent holder has to kind of inform the Indian Patent Office whether the patented invention is worked in India or not. There's this fairly a simple process to file a patent from the stage of having an invention disclosure in hand.
Okay, and you talked about Indian Patent Office. So is the Indian Patent Office part of the Indian government system or it is part of the larger global system?
So every country will have the patent office of their own, which is again governed by their country laws. In India, we have Indian Patent Office, which largely take up all the IP related matters, including patents, trademark, copyrights, designs, and even the geographical indications and things like that. Similar to Indian Patent Office, there are other patent offices in different countries like US as United States Patent Office, USPTO. Europe also has its own patent office called European Patent Office, and each country in the European jurisdiction also has their specific patent offices like German Patent Office, Swedish Patent Office, Swiss Patent Office, and things like that. China, Japan, Korea, they have their respective patent offices. But yes, all these patent offices are aligned with the Paris Convention Treaty, and also there is something called as Patent Convention Treaty or a PCT. So one who has the one who has the aim to file multiple applications in different countries generally choose Patent Corporation Treaty to lodge the application, maybe buy some time, and then enter into different national patent offices within the stipulated time that is prescribed by PCT authorities, which is 30 or 31 months from the date of filing. So in the nutshell, there is no global patent which gets awarded. It's a country-specific patent governed by country-specific laws, and that is granted by country-specific patent offices.
Okay, so once somebody actually applies in India, the patent is actually only applicable in India. And if the idea is so novel that the idea has to be registered in other countries, each country there has to be an individual application.
Absolutely. So there must be an individual application filed in different countries. I mean, therefore, it lot depends on the business interest of the applicant. I mean, filing it in all countries would be an expensive exercise to undertake. But if there is a business interest, and be it in terms of whether we applicant has a direct product in that particular country, or or a solution in that particular country, or even if there is a chance that someone in that country will use this technology to come up with a product or a process, depending on the business interest, one can choose to file in different countries. What we've seen, applicants from India often file and protect their inventions in India, and also file applications outside India in major jurisdictions like US, Europe, China, Japan, because these are the mature jurisdictions, and therefore there will be definitely a business interest, and they end up filing applications in such countries.
Okay. But then as a patent, Indian Patent Office, let's say there is an application for a product invention in India and it is applied through an agent. And is there a possibility that the Indian Patent Office will actually look for a similar, obviously they will look for similar thing within India from their database. Will they also look at worldwide whether there is such certain idea or a product already available, even though that may not have a direct impact on the patent award?
It's a very good question, Dr. Mishra. So, though a patent grant or a patent protection is country specific, but the requirements to get a patent is worldwide. Like, for example, I touched upon three major criteria for patentability. One is novelty, inventive step, and industrial applicability. When patent office assess the invention or the technology against these three requirements, the requirement is global. That means the technology must be novel throughout the world. The technology must be inventive when compared to what is already known throughout the world. So therefore, when Indian Patent Office or any other patent office conduct a search for the technologies or the documents which are related to the particular application, they extend the search to global. So therefore, as an inventor or as a technologist, when one is trying to file a patent, it is always recommended to conduct a preliminary search before filing of the application, just to have an idea as to what is existing in the art, where my technology lies, and what is the stand that I can take in case if there is an objection from the respective patent office in future. So to answer your question in simple terms, yes, the search requirements or the criteria requirements are global in nature.
Okay, now let us understand the difference between a registered patent agent and a lawyer. So how do you differentiate this?
I'm a registered patent agent and I'm also a lawyer. So I can speak from both the sides. To become a registered patent agent, it is very simple. A registered patent agent will have the rights to practice before the Indian Patent Office. meaning thereby he can undertake filing activities, he can undertake prosecution activities before the Indian Patent Office. To qualify to be a registered patent agent, one must have a technical degree and he or she must also pass the Indian Patent Agent examination. So currently this examination is conducted on annual basis. So any person who holds the technical degree can take up this examination and become a registered or a qualified Indian patent agent to practice before the Indian Patent Office. But lawyers' role is slightly more evolved. While lawyers may not be able to directly kind of, prosecute applications before the Indian Patent Office, lawyers can get involved in contentious matters. Like, for example, if there is an opposition against the grant of patent, in such contentious matters, at the patent office level, lawyers can get involved. But in general, lawyers being the legal practitioners, they can represent the client before court, even in IP matters, even in patent matters, in case if there is an infringement, in case if there is a revocation proceeding, or in case if there is any dispute around patent matters, lawyer can represent their respective clients in the court. And also lawyer's role will also come into picture if there is a review of any order. Order issued by the patent office. If there is any review to be filed against that order, such review will be filed in the High Court, and therefore a lawyer can play a role. So, but there is there is always a tendency that whoever becomes a patent agent, they also take up law as one of their practice. And like me, I was a pure play engineer when I chose this profession. Later, I ended up becoming a lawyer and then a patent agent. So that makes me a complete patent attorney who is qualified to practice before the Indian Patent Office and also qualified to practice before the Indian courts to represent my clients in any of the contentious matters.
Okay, and now let us understand about the examination you mentioned. So, since again this is directed towards students, so can you give us a little more detail about when the exam happens and what kind of preparations are required, how to prepare? Is there any training or coaching which is being done right now in India? So can you give us some more detail about that?
Oh, sure. So like I mentioned, this examination, which is called as Indian Patent Examination, is conducted once in annual basis. So this is coming up in the month of January 2026. So the notification of such examination comes up sometime around June or July of the previous year. Like, for example, for the examination in January 2026, the notification was issued in June or July 2025. And whoever is interested to enroll for the examination must have to fill the form, which includes their intent to appear before the examination, and they must submit documents to prove that they hold a technical degree or a technical qualification. And once patent office is satisfied, they will get a admission to the examination. And for examination, one can prepare by going through the Indian Patents Act, and there is also an Indian Patent Examiner Manual. So these two are the basic guiding books for one who is preparing for the patent agent examination. But yes, I think, as country has progressed, even the education system has progressed. Indian patent agent examination, there are specific courses or the specialized courses which are conducted online by various bodies or various organizations. One can go through them, and even in the YouTube, there are many study materials and study links available. One can actually refer to them. But more importantly, in my view, being in the practice for last 15 years, previous year question papers will give us a lot of guidance as to in which direction one must prepare, and one must be thorough with the examination. And of course, Dr. Mishra, since this is for a student community, I must tell some practice in the area of patents will make them better equipped. I mean to say, it is not as a patent agent, but even interaction with patent agents, even getting to understand how the patenting industry works and how this entire patenting law works, how it is interpreted, will definitely help them to crack this exam.
Okay, so let us now understand what is the overall scenario of patents in India. If you can give us an overall idea about how many patents are filed in India, how many are actually granted, and how we compare ourselves against the other world innovation centers. So give a sense of that.
I'll start with some of the matured IP jurisdictions before I come to India, because it speaks a lot. Some of the jurisdictions like China. China tops the list in terms of number of patent applications or number of IPs filed every year. In China, roughly about 15 lakh patent applications are filed on yearly basis, and currently they top the list, followed by US, and followed by other countries like Europe, Japan, Korea. But of course, India has made a significant progress in the last 1 decade or so. I think thanks to our government, there is a lot of push for innovation, and also there is a lot of push for and also not just the push, and there are a lot of incentives given for filing IPs by the government of India. That has in a way helped to see a steady growth in number of filings before the Indian Patent Office. If I talk about the journey in the last 5 years, at least I myself have seen numbers have grown by twofolds. If I can quickly share some data of number of filings in the financial year 2020 and 2021, there were roughly about 58,000 patent applications filed in that year in India, majorly again by foreign players and followed by Indian players. But in the last year, in the year 2024 and 25, there is an increase up to 110,000 patent applications which are being filed in India. Now, the good part is out of this 110,000, 55% are by Indian applicants, meaning thereby Indian applicants have started realizing the value of IP and they started filing more. While 55% of 110,000, roughly about 60 to 65,000 patent applications are filed by the Indian applicants, whereas the overall number itself was less than 60,000 5 years back. So that shows that there is a significant growth in number of applications being filed. Not just patents, we have seen a similar trend in other IPs like designs, in terms of trademarks, etc. But for the benefit of the crowd, I would talk more about patents here, because there is also a significant growth in number of grants by the Indian Patent Office. If I can take the same year as an example, that is 2020 and 2021, roughly about 29,000 applications were granted in that year. But with constant push, with lot of efforts and focus, Indian Patent Office was successful enough to grant more than 1 lakh patents in the year 2023 and 24. While we see that there is a slight dip in the previous year, the number of grants were about 33,000, but that was due to some administrative backlog and some other administrative reasons at the Indian Patent Office. But I must say that we as practitioners are very forward looking, that Indian Patent Office is trying to address all these issues. Indian Patent Office has recently hired close to 500 plus examiners to streamline this process, and with the aim that Indian Patent Office will be in a position to grant a patent at a faster rate when compared to the previous years in coming time. So therefore, all in all, there is definitely a growth in number of applications. There is definitely a growth in terms of number of grants, and golden times for Indian patent profession.
Okay, you mentioned briefly about design and trademark. So can you just give a brief about how it is different from a patent?
Of course, I think, yeah, these two are correlated areas again. Under the broad umbrella of IP, even the other IPs like design, copyright, trademark, geographical indication, and everything comes up. While we talk about patents, patents are for the technology. It is purely for the technology. But there is one more angle to it. Consumer get often attached and attracted to the way something looks. That is driven by aesthetics, right? To protect such aesthetics, there is something called as design registration. While technology is covered by patents, the looks of the product or the aesthetics of any product is something which gets protected by the way of design registration. Again, design registration is fairly a simple process. One can provide only the representations or images of that article for getting the registration. And it is valid for the period of 10 years and can be extended up to another 5 years. So it's fairly a comprehensive protection one can get on a product by the way of technology patent, by the way of aesthetic design. Now, when there is a company, when there is a product, or when there is a service, there is definitely a name attached to it, or there is definitely a logo attached to it for the marketing purposes. So trademark is the one which protects such logos, names, or even the colors or the color combinations in the name or the logo that is there. So therefore, one cannot look at patent designs, trademarks in isolation. But if there is a product, there can be multiple such protections, be it the names get protected by the way of trademark, the aesthetics gets protected by the way of designs, and the technology behind it gets protected by the way of patents.
Fantastic. That's very clear. I sometime few days back I saw a newspaper advertisement of a university in India, and they are seeking a patent officer for recruitment. So I was intrigued as to why somebody is being hired as a patent officer in a educational institute. So what do you think? I mean, why somebody needs a patent officer in an educational institute?
Yes. As we see, education institutes are increasingly filing the patent applications before the Indian Patent Office. I must also agree that they are the largest contributors for the growth of number of applications that are being filed. When we are dealing with patents, it requires a specialized skill set, right? I mean, not everyone can write a patent application. Not everyone can actually prosecute a patent application. Like, it was a culture in the corporates to have a specific team called as intellectual property team, where they will have patent officer or a patent agent or a patent analyst to help their inventors or their technologies or the R&D teams to protect their respective technologies. Now that has also come up in education institutes. At least in some of the reputed institutes like IITs, etc., there was already a specialized cell called as IP cell, but now we see that is percolating to other universities and other education institutes, where they will have a specific division called IP division, which will be responsible for reviewing the disclosures that are submitted by their scientists or their students or their professors to analyze such technologies can be taken up for any further activities like patenting or design registration, or even to apply for trademark or a copyright. So they will analyze and then, maybe coordinate with the respective attorneys, or they directly file the patent applications or design applications before the Indian Patent Office. So therefore, this role is a key role. Which is coming up. In a significant way in last 5 years or so, because more and more awareness about IP is pushing the universities to become more conscious about IP protection, and therefore they are now trying to hire someone as a patent authority or the patent agent to deal with their IPs.
Okay, now let us understand about your organization, K&S. So tell us about this organization and what kind of work all of you have been doing for last. So I would love to know more about it.
So we at K&S Partners, we were founded in the year 1991. We are a pure play IP boutique firm dealing with all the forms of IP in terms of patents, designs, copyrights, geographical indication, plant varieties, and things like that. But our mandate is to do only IP. Under IP, we do everything in terms of filing and prosecution, in terms of advisory, be it in terms of conducting patentability search, or conducting freedom to operate search, invalidation search, trademark availability search, design availability search, and things like that. In the advisory front, filing prosecution, which means we prepare patent applications, we prepare design trademark applications, file before the Indian Patent Office, prosecute these applications to get a grant to our clients. And also we help our clients in enforcement related activities. Like, for example, if there is any violation of IP rights, we actually litigate such cases before the Indian courts up to the level of Supreme Court. And Of course, we help our clients in some of the transactional related activities, like if there is a merger acquisition going on, and if they want us to do IP valuation or IP due diligence or IP audit, or even to prepare a licensing agreement or to review the merger acquisition agreement with respect to IP clauses. We help our clients in these areas. So we as a firm currently we are about 32 years old. Located in 7 different cities in the country. We started our operations from Delhi, and then we have a largest office in Gurgaon, and the second largest office is in Bangalore. That's where I operate from. We have smaller offices in other cities, including Chennai, Mumbai, and Pune, Hyderabad, and even in New Delhi. So these are 7 locations where we are present. We started with a 4-member firm in 1994. Today, we are about 360 people, out of which more than 150 are professionals. When I say professionals, lawyers or patent attorneys in different areas of technology, and remaining are the support staff. And arguably, today we are one of the largest IP firms in the country. Consistently rated as Tier 1 firm for the practice of IP in the country.
Fantastic. So now give a sense of how big is this domain in India? K&S has about 300 plus employees. So what is the sense of the all India scenario? What would be a ballpark figure in terms of how many people are working as patent attorneys and professionals in the patenting area today?
I must say that, again, in India, this profession has gained traction in last one decade or 1.5 decade to be more precise. While in advanced jurisdictions like China, Japan, Korea, US, Europe, patent attorney profession is quite famous, and there are established law firms who are there for more than 100 years and things like that. But even in India, there are few established law firms who are in existence for more than 100 years. But patent attorney profession as a whole picked up a traction in last few years, especially in last 10 to 15 years. And therefore, currently, if we look at the number of patent agents, when I become a patent agent, there were less than 2,000 patent agents in the entire country. But today we see that there are about 6,000 patent agents, 6,300 patent agents practicing before the Indian Patent Office. And put together, there could be other patent lawyers and patent attorney, agents who are working. Roughly about 7,000 people are working in this area only on patents, and there would be trademark agents and there would be other practitioners who will be practicing. So all in all, it's a field where it has gained the traction and it is going in the right direction. And also there is a demand for experts in this field because of the sheer numbers that I talked about. Like I gave the example of number of patent applications that have increased twofolds in last 5 years. We as professionals or we as practitioners see that these numbers are going to further increase, and Indian Patent Office itself is preparing itself for prosecuting or granting up to 3 lakh patents by 2030. So meaning thereby it will increase by 3 folds. And therefore, it is a profession where we are going to see increase in number of patent professionals who are going to come up in next 5 years or so. To deal with obviously increased numbers, we must have manpower. But yes, thanks to the technology, with the aid of technology, we can reduce some of the mundane tasks that we do. But manpower is something which cannot be replaced easily. And therefore, at least I see from my end, there is definitely going to be a growth in number of people who are in the patent profession in coming years, maybe in next 5 to 10 years of time.
Okay, so you mentioned that the basic requirement is a technical education. So when you say technical, is it only engineering, or there could be science graduates who could also look at this as an option?
It could be a mix of it. It need not be always in engineering.
Okay.
Even the person who is having a BSc degree or MSc qualification, he or she can also appear before the Indian Patent Office for the qualification examination, which is patent agent examination. But the criteria is, even to get into that qualification, one must have the technical qualification by the way of bachelor's in science or bachelor's in engineering.
And what about bachelor's in design? That's also a big area where a lot of young graduates, undergraduates actually pass out from institutions like NID, NIFT, and others. Are they also qualified for this?
So this is something which I may not have a ready answer now, but I can check. But in my understanding, it is, because it is this design practice is something which is on the science side, which is a technical degree or a technical qualification. In my understanding, yes, it is a qualifying requirement to take up the examination.
Fantastic. So, in all, I think it looks like a very good opportunity for young professionals, especially with the technical degrees or even the science degrees, to look at this as a great option for career path. Would you like to give some ideas or some suggestions for youngsters who are watching this or listening to this in terms of how to look at this as a great profession to go forward? That's one. And number two, can somebody, for example, you are a registered patent office agent in India, but at some point of time, suppose you are relocated to another country. So you have to go through the registration process again in that jurisdiction again, or how is it?
Yeah, so both the questions are very valid. Probably I will try and answer the second question first, and then I'll go to the tips to the young engineers here. Of course, I mean, I'm an Indian patent agent. I must be an Indian resident to be an Indian patent agent. So once I take up the examination in India and become an Indian patent agent, I will be allowed to practice before the Indian Patent Office. But for example, for any reason, if I want to practice an European patent law, I must qualify an European patent agent examination as well. So it is again a stricter process that they follow in Europe to become a patent professional or a patent attorney. There is a qualifying examination which has to be taken up, which has to be cleared to become a US or sorry European patent agent. And likewise, even in US, if we want to become a US patent attorney, then there is a qualifying examination which has to be which has to be cleared before we practice before such patent office. That's on the second question. But coming back to your first question, which is quite interesting for young engineers here, what they can consider, I mean, you don't have to look at patent attorney as only a career opportunity, but look at it from the holistic perspective. How understanding of patents can help an individual in terms of their both professional and personal growth. I mean, understanding about patents will give a clear idea as to in which area the technology is leading to, as to how and where they can actually invest their time, maybe, and efforts and come up with some technology in that area and file a patent application, become a successful inventor or get the patent in their name, and maybe try and sell that patent to someone, or maybe join a company which is working in a similar technology area. So of course, if you have a patent application number on the resume, that carries a lot of weightage when a person is looking for technical qualification of an individual. But that's on the purely on the technology front. But when you look at patent attorney profession as a whole, like I mentioned, there is definitely going to be a significant growth and the requirement in terms of number of patent professionals or the practitioners in the country. And therefore one can consider this to be one of the brightest career opportunities or the career path to take up. I mean, you have a lot of ways in which you can establish your professional career here by the way of patent agent or a patent analyst or a patent attorney in any of the law firm or an in-house counsel in any of the organizations or even in some of the universities. Like I mentioned, there will be an IP team. There can be an opportunity to practice as an IP attorney or an IP practitioner in such IP teams of an organization or an education institute. Or if you want to take up a litigation, there is something called as a patent litigator profession where concerned person will be allowed to practice before the court in terms of protecting the interest of their clients by the way of enforcement. So there are a whole lot of opportunities that one can look at. And also this profession is something which is financially also is very attractive. I mean, I may not have ready numbers, but without a binding, anyone who joins as a patent agent, somewhere their annual CTC may range up to 5 to 9 LPA to start with, and as they grow, this is a very good pay. I mean, this will actually fetch a very good pay in the industry. I mean, as we grow as a patent professional, the number of years of experience we spend in the patenting field will not only help us to gain more package, but also gain a recognition in the industry as a seasoned patent professional.
Fantastic. No, I think this is very interesting, and it's very logical that going forward, a lot of youngsters in India will actually create wonderful new products and processes and softwares, possibly also, and create more value for Indian products made in India for the world. So thank you for all the insights. Very, very crisp and simple to understand answers to each of the query what I asked. So I hope this conversation will help a lot of our youngsters to take up this or consider this as one of the career paths for the future. So, Mr. Gopinath, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra. Thanks for your time as well, and wishing everyone who is going through this video all the best for their future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hope you enjoyed this episode. We sincerely wish you could take something from our conversation today and be able to apply it to your life in a positive way. We value your feedback. This can help us improve our future episodes. So share your thoughts to serve you better. If you want us to focus on a topic which you think is of importance, let us know. We will share our expertise in future episodes. So, see you soon with a new topic and help you in your career journey.